Almost 18 years have gone by since the release of Burnout Paradise, the last instalment of a short-lived yet tremendously iconic racing franchise. Its legacy persists, but we've never had a truly worthy spiritual follow-up to the Burnout games. Three Fields Entertainment's latest title tries to be exactly that, but also a lot more. After a long and excruciating wait, here it is, racing fans. Strap in for the XboxEra review in progress for Wreckreation. In 2014, three former Criterion Game employees formed Three Fields Entertainment. Seemingly unhappy with Electronic Arts' management of their team and their work, they decided to branch out, form a new team. Their goal has been evident from the start: try and build a proper spiritual successor to the Burnout games. The limited budget of the team meant they had to do this step by step. They first created Dangerous Golf, a spectacular destruction-based golf game mimicking Burnout's iconic crash mode. After that, they went for a proper car-based recreation of said mode with Danger Zone and Danger Zone 2 respectively. These were just part of the Burnout package though, a fun game mode where players have to launch their car into a busy intersection, trying to cause as much carnage as possible. All three games recreated the formula rather well. A fantastic game mode, but we're still missing the main course, the racing. Enter 2019's Dangerous Driving, a sadly rather disappointing arcade racer, and before Wreckreation, the team's final game. It nails the Burnout vibes on a surface level with a similar handling and track design, but poor polish, minimal variety, and a lack of a soundtrack made it a bit of a letdown. It became quite evident that without a proper budget, Three Fields Entertainment may not deliver us the Burnout spiritual successor we crave for. Work on a more ambitious open-world sequel began, and funding was secured via a seemingly lucrative deal with publisher THQ Nordic. The game was eventually announced with a new name, Wreckreation, and shown off first in 2022. Over 3 years have passed since, with barely any trailers, no proper gameplay showcases, and not a playable teaser or anything of the sort. Pretty much only a few short clips merely days before launch. After 6 years of development, Three Fields Entertainment's most ambitious game is finally upon us, and we barely even knew what to expect. What the game promises is more than just Burnout. Iterating on Dangerous Driving's racing model comes a massive open-world sandbox to explore. Destructive races and events all across a world that can be explored solo or with other players. On top of many developer-made events, players can create their own tracks, organise their own events, and the host of the session may as well have dev mode on. Indeed, they can change traffic intensity, time of day, weather, restrictions on the fly, even rename cars, streets, and the town itself, adding ramps and track elements galore. It's a sandbox like no other, really, but does it make for a compelling racer? Wreckreation's opening race is a tad misleading, not because it shows something that doesn't normally happen in the game, but more so because it takes a while to get there, and it's not really what you'll be doing the most. It catapults players into a so-called sky race, reminiscent of GTA Online's custom races, wide tracks in mid-air with ramps, boosts, loops and more. As the race begins, the game's relative lack of budget and polish is quite evident. It's not quite the first impression I wanted for Wreckreation, that's for sure. The handling? Pretty floaty. The physics? Rather stiff in the contacts. Drifts are initially a bit difficult to initiate. The sensation of speed is solid, though there's an exaggerated use of motion blur, chromatic aberration, and all of that jazz. There's also a lot of elements that seemingly reveal a lack of clear artistic identity, or at least some coherence in its style. A lot of oddly unexciting fonts, very generic 3D models of vistas, even frame rate performance drops and things like that. Interestingly, there are air controls and air brakes, but you barely get to try that just yet. The game tries to recreate that Burnout feeling in so many ways, but it doesn't quite convince you fully. This Skytrack segment tells us something. The core driving experience is absolutely not on par with the genre's best. Quite far from it, in fact. The race ends with a jump that sends us back onto the ground, and this is where the real Wreckreation begins. It's a giant open world full of wide roads in forest areas, beaches, mountains, but not much in terms of cities. At first it does feel like a rather empty open world, void of things to do, but before long it starts opening up. There are billboards to smash, both in regular ways and with unique stunts, gas stations to repair your car, parking lots to change into another vehicle that you may have unlocked, unique new vehicles to unlock via smashing them as they speed around. There are tons of radio stations, a lot of car customization, and of course, plenty of races and challenges. Burnout-style road rage events are back, basically smash as many opponents as you can in a limited time. But most importantly, Live Mix, also known as Wreckreation's creative soul. Anywhere you are, with the press of a single button, you can open what is essentially a free-form editor mode. Throughout the open world, you'll find floating tools to collect. Get them because they're the key to being able to place items onto the map. Ramps, banked turns, obstacles, custom signs, skytrack pieces, dinosaurs, you name it. You'll start with placing a ramp or a wooden bridge to reach an otherwise inaccessible floating collectible. Before long, you'll find yourself customizing the road style of a massive Trackmania-esque construction in the sky with loops, tubes and more. What's impressive is that these changes don't need to be saved, nor do they disappear when you reload the game. They will stay in your Wreckreation world forever, be it offline or online. It's hard to overstate how ridiculous this is, but the player freedom in this game makes titles like Forza Horizon 5 look like linear campaigns. The player can build anything onto their open world, really. They can customize the weather, the traffic intensity, the collision rules, even challenges, new on-track races, custom off-road paths with checkpoints can all be made. The sky really is the limit. And this is basically why we opted to make this a review in progress rather than a definitive verdict. We have had the game for about a week, and by the time these words and this video is published, for most of that the game didn't have its online servers on, surely in preparation for launch. Despite offering a vast open world to explore in single player as well, with all the live mix elements, AI races and so forth, Three Field Entertainment's latest is a social experience at heart. Custom events, session-based records about who can do the longest drift, the biggest jump and so forth. You can even have others help you in creating brand new skytracks. Needless to say, I wasn't able to fully test all of these things out without the community actually being here yet, especially with the game currently lacking crossplay, with me only being paired with other Xbox players. Thus, my opinion of Wreckreation keeps on changing, for the better, fortunately. The game's presentation doesn't quite do it any favours. Unimpressive graphics, odd visual design choices, floaty handling, physics and destruction that are legitimately worse than the old school Burnout games it's trying to replicate. It also has its share of glitches with weird collisions, the frame rate will tank temporarily at times, and stuff like that. However, not only do you get used to this, but the game just keeps improving. The open world keeps getting filled up, and Live Mix keeps things fresh, with the possibilities of its online sandbox becoming practically limitless. All in all, I intend to play Wreckreation for quite some time, as it finally launches for everyone to see on October 28th, 2025. It might not be the most polished or spectacular racing game on a surface level, but if you get used to its jank, and you fill up its immense sandbox with cool things to do, be it alone or with buddies, there's simply no racing game with such an exhilarating and creative sandbox out there, which makes me forgive some of its oddities and problems. If the community lives up to the game's lofty ambitions, we might have quite the release on our hands. I'll be revisiting Wreckreation after launch, as I'm very curious to see how it evolves from here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review in progress, be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and if you really love what we do, consider supporting XboxEra directly on Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And we'll see you next time.